By the way, that apparently most of you, anyway, and probably not all of you, because I don't really like long videos, but most of you like when I do a long video. So I'm going to long them out, man. Let's do some long videos. Don't know what I'm going to put in them. I suppose we'd better have a little look at this. This is what we've got. It was supposed to be a KX80. Although I did see in the photos, I was looking for this. That's for the brother-in-law. I looked in the photos and I thought that don't look very much like a KX100, and I didn't think the engine looked a bit too small, you know, and things like that. And I thought to myself, well, at least, you know, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's reasonably alright and it sort of runs, we're sort of not too bad. But it turns out that it's a KX80. I think it says KX80 on the rating plate on the other side. So I think it's a KX80. I'm yet to check out the numbers, but the most obvious thing is somebody's painted this frame very badly. It's like a matte sort of finish. They've just literally probably spray painted it. It has got a new front mudguard and a new number plate. The fuel tank is not bolted on. Those aren't original. Black mudguard and that. You can tell by the swing arm it's a KX80 as well. So I don't know, man. Gonna have to have a look around here. What's going on there? I've just noticed that. Can you see that? I've only just noticed that. Look what it's got around there to hold that on. It hasn't even got a nut in it. Or whatever. It's got a bit of wire wrapped around it. I've only just noticed that. But other than that, it looks fairly clean. The engine's clean. We didn't hear it run. It needs new grips. Needs new levers. We knew all this by looking at the picture, the one picture. I got it from a couple of there are a couple of druggies over there. I've been to them before for a bike. You know, and it was a heap of rubbish. It was a heap of shit, but I didn't end up picking that one up. But this one, it ain't as bad as what it might look. Now that's if it runs. Now they said, oh, it's just got carb issues, that's why it doesn't run. They said it did run. We was riding it around, put it in the shed for about 3 months, and got it out, and now it won't start. So I'm like, right, okay. He's like, yeah, it's just carb issues. I don't believe that. Well, I believe that it might have got it out of the shed and it don't run, but I don't know if it is just carb problems, because, you know, usually you put a bike in the shed, you get it out, it'll usually run how it did before. However, there may be, you know, a bit of dirt in there, petrol might have been, I don't know, anything could have happened. But he did say as well, there's a crack in the spark plug, and what he's done is he's sort of taped it up with a bit of, electrical tape there, which ain't going to work. So I'm going to take that out and see if I might have one that I can put in there in the meantime. It's got compression, there's no reason why it shouldn't start, so as I get fiddling around, I suppose. Leave it. This is a photo. It's a very, very old photo. That's me, man. It's a very old photo. It's actually a proper photo that you had to go out and get developed. So how old it is. This would have been around. That bike was a 2003 Yamaha TTR 125, and then so this photo would have been around 2003, 2004, around sort of time. But there's me doing a wheelie with my legs out like that. Bloody hell. Found that photo the other day and I thought, oh man, I'm going to have to like display that. Right, let's take a look at this. This has just come fresh out the bike. It doesn't look bad on that side of things, where the old electrode is and all that rubbish. Looks like they've had that out. The plug itself, I don't know what that's all about. That's a properly old plug, isn't it, eh? Bloody hell. So let's have a look to see where they've taped this up. We'll hopefully find out what plug it's supposed to be. BR8ES. That's it, you can clearly see that it is actually cracked. It's got a crack that goes along there, and it's got a little dimple out of there. So let's have a look to see what other ones I've got. I don't think I've got any of these. NGK. It's a bloody old plug, isn't it, eh? That is a really old plug. Anyway, let's have a look. I'm going to have a look, see if I've got any of these ones, or one that's similar, and I might be able to, you know, borrow it for a while. I nicked a BR9 EG out of the RM, and the one that was in the KX was a BR8ES, but it'll be alright. They're the same length. That's what you got to look for, the length, because if you put a plug that's longer in it than the one that should be in it, it'll hit the piston. But the only differences are the heat with the numbers that are on it. Not that you can see that, but it doesn't matter what camera I use, I'm afraid. The fact that focusing is always going to be an issue, no matter what camera you have. The iBasic is finding that out. I tried to tell him about cameras, but he doesn't. He's the kind of person, he just wants things just to work like that. You know, sometimes you can't have things just work, you know, as strange as it goes, unless you're willing to pay a lot of money. If you pay a lot of money and you get a properly expensive camera, but having said that, the more expensive you go, the more, you know, you have to know and set them up properly and all that kind of rubbish. So even then, that's probably not going to be. Maybe going cheaper. Maybe going cheaper is the better option. I don't know. Yeah. Focusing, you know, you have to set your cameras up right. So anyway, let's get this plug in here. That don't feel quite right in there. I do wonder whether that thread has had it. Yeah, I thought I'm going to have to take that off. Need a pair of pliers now. Need a pair of me pliers. Here we go. There's your pair of me pliers. Look at that kickstart, man. That's the kickstart what they've got on it. What the hell is that all about? You're going to have to sort that out. I don't think there's any water in the radiator, but I'll have to look that up in a minute. Mustn't lose that. Let's stick that on there, like that. What's the matter with this thing? This cock here. Is that on? Is that way? Well, the old cock ain't working, is it? There we go. It's just a bit stiff. Someone's gonna put the cock on round the wrong way, like. Oh, bloody hell, man. God, don't know what that's all about. Have we got any fuel? Don't know whether we've got any in here. Right, we need to fill her up and then we can see. A bit. I'm not going to give away too much of my precious petrol. Do you know how much that is now? Too much. How much it is? Too bloody much. Tell you what, speaking of fuel, I watched some videos of, you know, American people, right? And they were complaining that it costs them $60 to fill up their great big, well, not great big, their trucks, yeah, their pickup trucks, right? Now, I know for a fact they ain't got huge tanks, but put this in perspective, right? $60 to fill your truck up. Obviously different states, I think. Where are they? Mostly New York and Connecticut, right? Anyway, it costs me, I don't know how many litres, it costs me £130, British pounds, to fill up my Land Rover, my Discovery. 130. So if you convert that into dollars, I would imagine that's, well, dollars. I think dollars are more than pounds, ain't they, at the moment? Or always have been, or whatever. So that would be probably like $200. Think of it that way, and then maybe you won't moan. What made me laugh was, he said to me, oh, I think it needs some air in the shock. I said, air? I said, that's full of bloody gas, man. They're gas shocks. They don't have air in them. They have gas in them. What's going on there? Some people are bloody nuts. Some people are a bit crazy. Anyway, let's see if it's going to go, eh? Shall we? I don't know, man. Do I think it's going to go or don't I? I don't know what I think. What the hell? You can't even kick it with that bloody thing. Right, now let's explain two things. A lot of you are going to say to me, you always say never start up a bike and rev the hell out of it straight away. I know that. I've done it for one reason. I noticed that it was running, it was really restrictive, right? I don't know how to explain this. It's a tricky one to explain without showing it. But if it's restrictive, if you give it a bit of revs and it burns off all the oil, could be loads of oil inside, right? And it felt like it was going to die, so you need to get rid of that, burn it out. The fact that it had probably warmed up enough by then. So, you know, call me a hypocrite or whatever, I don't care, do whatever you want as far as that's concerned. But we know that it runs. It bloody runs. To tell you the truth, I wasn't expecting that at all. I really wasn't expecting it to run. It's running really rich because I just tipped the oil in. I didn't measure it. I just tipped it in. So it needs exhaust springs. I ain't got no exhaust springs. I'm going to check the radiator water now, and we'll go from there then. We know that it runs. Whether it moves under its own steam is a different story. But we know that it runs. I take that back. Actually, 130 pounds. Is $171. That's what it says here. So let's have a look to see if you're Canadian. I'm just curious. Oh look, Australian dollar. 212 if you're in Australia is how much it would cost you to fill up your truck in this country. About let's have a look. Where's the Canadian? Oh, let's just see. Canadian dollar. If you're in Canada, 208. So you're better off being in USA. And I don't know. There's loads of other countries, but I'm not going to go through them all because that'd just be boring. Let's have a look at euro while we're at it. How many euros would it cost? Oh, only 142 euros. Sweet, that ain't bad, is it? Let's get the old light. What way does it go? I don't know. I'm all over the place today. Bloody hell. Let's have a quick look here. I did notice, I didn't show actually. And oh, still got a bit of smoke coming out of it, look. Still got smoke coming out of it. What's that all about? We've only got no exhaust springs. I think it's the wrong exhaust anyway, to tell you the truth. It's definitely been welded up in places. You can see where it's been welded up and grounded apart and everything else. Oh look, we've only got one radiator and all. I've only just got a cobweb there. I've only just noticed we only got one radiator. Obviously these, oh, there's a leak. You can see a leak. You can see where the black oil comes out up the top there. That's where there's a leak. So it's running down the exhaust there. That's not a big deal. Oh, I've only got one radiator. There we go, Mr. Moto Muppet, if you're watching. There you go. You've proved me wrong. I didn't know these KX80s only had one radiator. You told me that them, whatever it is you've got, has a one radiator, and now the KX80 has. I didn't know that. There we go. I've only ever seen a dirt bike with two radiators. Bearing in mind this is a bloody old one. I'm going to have a look at the frame number. Look, oh, they've gone over it. Whoever it is has ground it off. Yeah, this bike's probably nicked that. But I don't know. He said it was a 95, but we have got an engine number. I can look the engine number up. We can at least we'll know what kind of engine we've got in it. But as far as that goes, that's gone. Right, so we got that, and then I did notice there's been a bit of welding gone on down here. Look, there's a bit of a drip there. Look, bit of petrol coming out the old overflow pipe. Maybe the float needs adjusting. I don't know, but someone's done a bit of welding there, so that saves me doing it at least. Someone's loved it at one point before these people got hold of it. Whoever had it before us. They might have done this work. They might have painted that frame. I mean, I don't know. So, let's see if we got any. I don't think we had any water in the radiator when I looked the other day. Well, say yesterday. No, we do with a new radiator actually. But it's a bit dry, so I'm gonna go and get the old watering can and fill it up with a bit of water. Bit of water. I don't know how much it's gonna. Oh, handlebar in the way. I don't know how much it's gonna take. We'll soon find out. Didn't take that much actually, did it? Didn't take that much at all. Now, I think I've explained many times actually how you bleed the radiator, but there you go. I don't know if I'll be bothered to do it again. Move it around a bit. You should get a few bubbles pop up, and if you move it around, then you have to start it up and get the bubbles to come out. Once you've started it up, the bubbles should start bubbling out of there. And then, well, really, once the bubbles have stopped coming out, you know that it's bled. Really, it's the way it goes. No, it stopped. To see if I can do it with the camera in one hand. I managed to get it going, but God, bloody hell! This kickstart, you push on it to kick it, and all it does is fold in. This is off some cheap thing, like I don't know, and it's meant to be mounted down there. So when you kick it, it's not up here. So it needs to get a proper kickstart, that's for sure. See, it just folds in, and then you get your foot on it. Watch for the bubbles. I think I'll have to wait and do that on the outside another time. Bloody hell, man, bit smoky. I mean, these magnets, I've got two Velmas now, look, two of them. Bloody hell. If you're going to send me something, send me number plates. I'd like to collect number plates, old ones or American ones or ones from other countries. I'll collect them, I'll put them all on the wall here, or do whatever. You can send me more of them if you want, but I'm not saying I don't like them, they're very nice, you know, but it's going to be difficult because I'm going to run out of space, and now I've got two the same. Them grips Them grips are glued onto the bloody thing. This is going to call for some proper sort of work. Gonna have to do some proper cutting, I think, here. Now, me being me, as always, I didn't realise, but these are those grips. They're glued to the throttle tube, and these ones on the other side has a little tube that goes in there, and you do the bolt up. They were pretty wrecked anyway. They were all smashed up and pretty wrecked anyway. I didn't realise it, man. I thought someone had bloody glued them on. Bloody hell! No, they're pretty. They've added them grips. Look, that's where I cut it. But yeah. So, just gonna have to get gonna either have to get a new set of these, in which case it would just be straight fit, or get a new throttle tube and get some more conventional grips that you just put on as usual. Yeah. So I'm gonna take that. I've taken them off, ready to be refitted with new ones. I'm gonna take the kickstart off now, and it'll be ready for a new kickstart. Does the chainsaw still start? It's been sat there since whenever I done the video on it. Will it still work? Let's have a look. No choke. Choke is off, and we'll see if it's going to work. And if not, I'll put the choke on. Nope. Probably getting a little bit of choke then. Ah. We may not have been as good as we thought we were then, eh? Here we go. What happened to the video? Ah, look, I've got to knock my watering can over. Ah. Don't know what happened to the footage then. On the viewfinder, when I started the strimmer up, the old viewfinder went a bit funny. Oh dear. I don't use this camera very often. I've had it a couple of years. I don't use it that often. So, it may be an effect. It may be the electrical, the magnets on the electrical interference coming from this could have interfered with it. It'd be interesting to see whether it showed up on the on the actual footage or if it was just a viewfinder that was messed up. But anyway, the chainsaw still runs. Didn't start first pull, probably needed to suck up a bit of fuel. It's been sat on its side like that for a couple of days because it fell over. Never mind. You can hear the rain. At the very moment, poor old Florida's supposed to be getting a hurricane. Right now, I think. Right now. So, hopefully all you lot that are in Florida, those of you who are in Houston and you got flooded, all you ones that are in Florida and we're in the Bahamas and the Caribbean, or if you're American, you probably called it the Caribbean. Now, on all serious note, I hope you're all getting through the hurricane alright. Well, by the time you see this video, you'd have had the hurricane. But, there you go. I hope you're all good and dandy, man. Do a little bit of work on this chainsaw, but for those of you that may have had a notice on the video I did this where I got it running, which would have been the last video. I think it was Friday's one. Some of you may have noticed, and I noticed it at the time when I was filming it, when I was actually standing here, I noticed it, but there was sparking coming from inside and it was going down onto the metal here. Now, that's not really normal. I mean, it shouldn't be happening. All of the electric, all of the energy should be going down the inside of the plug, you know, to create the spark that it needs. It shouldn't be coming out around and zipping down from inside and zipping down to where the little bolt, you know, where the, whatchamacallit is. So, I'm going to have to try and fix that. That's probably going to be contributing to the problem, you know, why it doesn't like to be run. But I do think it's a fueling problem, because you may have also noticed a lot of the fuel was coming back and accumulating down here. And there shouldn't really be any fuel coming out of here, which means it's running far too rich. But I changed the diaphragm, and maybe something else that's gone wrong in here. I'm going to play about, before I go stripping it apart again, I'm gonna get a new spark plug to see if the spark plug is the issue. The plug might be the issue, maybe something wrong with it inside, which is why it's, you know, earthing down here and not in there. But I can't see anything else reason why it would be. That looks right in there. Unless it's supposed to have a rubber insulator around here. Some have a rubber insulator. But before I strip the carb apart again, after I've already changed the diaphragm, I'm going to get it started again at some point. Not today, it's too late now. But I'm going to try and tune it and try and get it to run a bit better with the needles here. Because chainsaws are designed to be, they're designed to be changed because, you know, the different weathers, cold or hot weather, if we're in high altitude, sometimes you might be cutting logs for your fire. You might be living on the top of a mountain or something, you know, where the air is a lot thinner. So they're designed to be adjusted, which is why they've got high and low needles. A lot of carbs don't these days, but that's why they have. So I'm going to try and adjust it, see if I can get it to run a bit better after I put a new plug in it. If not, it's going to have to be another carburetor strip down. But I think it's just a carb. I can't see anything else wrong with it. The exhaust might be blocked. I think I might. It's only 2 bolts. I think I might take the exhaust off and have a look in there to see if I can find anything wrong. But I don't think the exhaust is blocked. But we'll have to have a look and see how it goes. So that's another project for another day. I've got this chainsaw to do. I've got that KX80 to do, and I got the PW80 for a friend of mine that I've had for many months now. I've got to do that as well.